Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of What's Your Story? Tonight we have the privilege of sitting down with RaeLynn. That's all I'm going to say, RaeLynn. How do you say your last name?
Zenzius.
Zenzius, okay. I knew I was going to get it wrong, so just want to make sure I get it right for you. And you are the manager of the RaeStore in Kennebunk.
Yes.
Are you all settled in?
Well, yes and no. The RaeStore is always a work in progress.
Yes.
And it changes every day. So I would say that we're loving the space and we're adjusting to how to use it most efficiently.
Yeah.
But I think it's always going to be an evolution.
Yeah, because everything's changing.
And the inventory changes every day.
Yeah.
So we get 7 pickups from our truck every day, and then anywhere from 10 to 50 drop-offs a day.
Oh my gosh.
So we have to adjust the inventory and the space based on what we get.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's always a chess game.
So did you grow up around here, or are you from?
I'm from Aroostook County.
Okay.
Yeah, I am a Mainer.
You're a true Mainer.
I am a true Mainer.
Yeah.
I was away for almost 20 years, and much like James, who you interviewed earlier, I came back during the COVID time.
Okay.
And this was my radical sabbatical.
I love that.
So I ended up at Habitat just through a series of different events. I was first taken in by HB Provisions to work there here locally.
Yeah.
Wonderful people. And then I went on to work for Habitat.
Yeah.
So I do think it's my forever home. It's
Okay.
a job that I love and
Yeah.
I can see myself doing for a very long time.
Yeah. So in your typical day at the RaeStore, are you making phone calls, arranging a pickup? Like, how does all of that work for you?
Well, we have 2 other staff members and a very huge group of volunteers who help me through every day.
Okay.
So basically the morning starts at 8 a.m. And we are looking at all the inventory that we have that's come in from the previous loads, and we're resetting the floor, basically re-merchandising the floor with
Okay.
all of the new inventory.
Yeah.
And that's done with our volunteers before we open. And that happens for 4 hours between 8 and noon. So it's a very busy time.
Yeah.
Processing, cleaning, pricing, and situating all of the inventory. So that a lot of my time is spent there in the morning prepping for opening.
Okay.
At 12 o'clock we open most days. We open at 10 on Saturday, but Wednesday through Friday we open at 12. And there's usually a line out the door of 50 people or more waiting to see what new items have come in, because it is like a treasure hunt every single day.
Yeah.
So we open up at noon, and our focus from then on with the volunteers and our staff is to service the customers and the donors. So donors are dropping off at the same time as people are purchasing. We're loading their car, whether it's something they bought the previous day or something they bought this day, helping get all of the inventory in. And then every spot that is purchased, the new item takes its place. So it's just a constant thing until 4 o'clock.
Wow.
Where you don't have a minute. I mean, I put in almost 8 miles a day on steps.
I bet.
And I'm sure our volunteers do as well,
Yeah.
aside from that, all of the lifting. So it's very busy. It's really fun. You never know what's coming in the door. And we have volunteers who work. Some work an hour, some work 2, some work 6 hours. So you have a constant influx of new people. And it's very fresh. Every day is something new and something exciting to look at and to do.
Yeah. How do you know how to price something?
We do a lot of research on
Okay.
items, actually, and we're generally pricing 50 to 60% below the
Okay.
used market.
Yeah.
So we're trying to really provide good value for the community.
Okay.
But we're also trying to provide value for the donors.
Yeah.
Some items will come in who are quite exquisite or quite valuable items, and we do price those according to market value. So, it's definitely something that takes practice.
Yeah.
And it takes knowing what the market will bear as well.
Right.
And we reduce prices of items every week. So if something sits for a long time, then the prices do get reduced.
Do you have, if somebody had I'm moving, I have, 50 items, are there some things that you have to say no to?
Yes, unfortunately, things that are not resaleable,
Okay.
we have to say no to. There are also things that we just can't take because Habitat globally does not allow us
Right.
to, such as mattresses, box springs,
Yep.
things like that. And then there are things that we can't test, like gas appliances.
Okay.
So we wouldn't be able to sell those things.
Right, right.
So, and then it also changes based on day by day. If I have, 200 beds, I can't take in another one.
Gotcha.
So we do adjust on a daily basis
Yeah.
according to the inventory that we have.
Yeah. Have you ever had somebody that is dropping off and someone's shopping and they say, I'll take that before it even hits the floor?
Well, we try to avoid that happening because we do want everyone to have a fair chance.
Yep.
We want to process everything, which means clean it and price it and get it out onto the floor so that there's a very fair shopping experience for everyone. So we really discourage any of that from happening.
Okay. And how does it work for when you make a sale? Like, how does that money work? So, I come in and I buy this plant. So what does that plant go towards?
So the restore...
Not the plant, but the money for the plant. I
Right.
should
The
say.
plant goes in your house and you love it,
That's
hopefully.
right.
But the restore supports the organizational mission
Okay.
of Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
So it's not like the money goes directly to buy a refrigerator. It's more of an organizational support.
Okay.
And so we bridge the gap in terms of during COVID. Some of our homes, there was a big delay for appliances and things like that. So an appliance from the restore may go into a home temporarily while we're waiting for a new warranted appliance to come in.
Okay.
But the restore monies go to support the organizational efforts of the mission.
My gosh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
And how many people would you say are working at the restore? Volunteers, staff? What's your...
Yeah, any given day we have between 10 and 15 volunteers per day that we need to open and to give really great service.
Yep.
We have between 5 and 10 employees, and those include drivers. We always have 2 drivers on our truck out picking up items. We have a donations coordinator who does all of the logistics of booking your appointment if you need a pickup.
Yeah.
And then we have an assistant manager who aids in all of the in-store things that we have to get done every day. So there are staff people, and it's wonderful. We have a volunteer coordinator who works with all the volunteers to recruit and to manage that system. But it is like having, 10 or 20 new employees every day.
Yeah. That's how we are. I mean, we wouldn't be open if it wasn't for our volunteers.
We could not be open without our volunteers.
Yeah.
And this community is especially strong, not only in donors, but in volunteer, hours.
Yeah.
And some of our volunteers have been with us for more than 10 years.
Wow, that's
which is
wonderful.
really incredible. Some before there was even a restore. So, we could not do what we do without the strength of our community.
Yeah. So up in Aroostook County, where you grew up, where was it? What town?
Caswell, which
Never
was
heard
a
of it.
plantation right near Loring Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
Or what
okay.
was
Yeah,
Loring Air Force Base.
Family up there?
Yeah, my parents are still there. I have a sister there and a niece and a grandnephew.
Yeah.
And they still live there. My aunts are there.
Yeah.
And I get back up there during the summer, but not in the winter if I don't have to.
Now, when you were in school, were you part of the potato picking, where you'd get out of school for a month? I had some friends that grew up in Madawaska.
Oh yeah.
And there were times where they would get out of school, and that's what their job was, to go and...
Yeah, that was standard operating procedure then. There was that kind of 3-week period, I think, where everyone was off for potato picking and rock picking and, all of the things that had to be done because, the majority of people were farmers, at least when I was young. Yeah. Now a lot of the farms are leased out, but
Yeah.
clearly there's not as much population there now that the base has closed.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a more fragile community at this point.
Yeah.
And of course the mechanisms have grown that they don't need as much hand picking as usual. But there still are those really scary harvesters out there.
Yeah.
Luckily I never had to go on a harvester.
Okay.
But, in the fields, sure.
Yeah, I'd be a little nervous about that, I think.
Yeah.
So, and it's a little chilly up there. A little
It is
chillier than here.
definitely one of the reasons I chose living in the coast or on the coast. That it's more mild here for the winter. I also have a sister in New Hampshire, so
Yeah.
it's nice to be sort of near an airport.
Yeah.
When I lived out west, it was, a full day's travel to get back
Right.
in case of an emergency or something. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's really nice to be here now where I can spend real quality time with
Yeah.
my family.
So when you're not working, what do you do?
Everything
you like to do?
Yeah, everything for me is about being outside.
Okay.
Definitely like to be in the forest. I like hiking, I
Mm-hmm.
like kayaking, bicycling, which is what I used to do for a living in California. So, and I also worked in the wine industry, so I like to do wine tasting and those types of things. Not as much of that here, but definitely anything outside. I
Yeah.
just want to be outside.
Yeah, good for you. So we talked to James about the beer tap thing.
Hops for habitat.
Hops for Habitat. So do you have a wine that's going to be like? Is it going to be an affiliate to the hops?
Well, we should do that, really.
We should do that.
We should do that. This one's all about the beer, but we definitely should add on a wine one. I think, that would be wonderful.
That would be fun. So I took a chance at your last fundraiser, and I actually won one of the raffles. And
Which one?
The sunrise package, the morning package.
Oh, great. So you got
it-
lots of great coffee and pastries.
Unbelievable. When I came to pick it up, James was, he sort of handed me this one thing, and I was pretty much ready to walk out the door. He said, "Oh, no, there's more." And when you were talking about, donors and people in this community supporting, they support in so many more ways too.
Yes.
And I think, we all head up our businesses for things that we have going on. And I think that's really wonderful. But some of the things that you all do it's really been very creative, and I hope successful when it comes to fundraising, because I know how hard that can be. So.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think the Restore has its own sort of fundraising aspect as well. And I know that we have done things for the Ukraine in the past, and the
Yeah.
community's really come out to support those efforts.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will have something coming up for Maui.
Yeah.
I just read this morning that 10 habitat homes were destroyed in the fires in Maui.
my.
So, there'll definitely be some sort of collaborative effort for fundraising there. And we hope that our community will come out to the Restore and help us
Yeah.
to help them.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, it's a continued effort.
Yeah.
We have some donors who come every year, whether they live here or not. They maybe have Airbnbs, or they have, summer homes or things like that. So
Yeah.
it's that continuous,
Yeah.
level of giving that keeps us able to do what James does and what
Yeah.
the Habitat does is in terms of building those homes.
Yeah.
Because without those continued efforts, I mean, this is a relatively small community.
Mm-hmm.
So without that continuous giving, we would need to be seeking outside sources
Mm-hmm.
much more than we do. And it's great to know that we can rely on the people who live and work right here in our own community.
Yeah. Are there restores in other places?
Yes, actually. They're all over the country.
Okay.
And all over the world, I think, in different levels,
Yep.
different types.
Yep.
But there's a Restore in Portland.
Okay.
There's Seven Rivers, which is the Bath Topsom area.
Yep.
There's a Newington, which is sort of the Portsmouth area. There are 2 in Vermont, which are really cool restores.
Yeah.
And there's a Waterville Restore and a Bangor Restore.
Okay.
So
Wow.
you could really hop in your car and do a Restore trail event. Bring your truck, though,
Yeah.
because there's probably going to be something in every
I
store that you
bet.
can't live without.
I bet.
And you could go literally from Vermont to Bangor and furnish an entire house.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I could not believe the first time I ever went to the Restore before you moved. I went to a business after hours with the chamber, and I had in my mind, things that we, would be in a room that were for sale, but not a whole building of things. And the way you have it set up, the way you have it inventoried, it all makes sense. It's beautifully arranged. It's clean because you're taking that time. But I just think whatever you all do is amazing.
Thank you.
So,
It's a lot of fun.
You definitely can see the labor of love
Yes.
that you all put into that.
Well, you should come and spend a day there with us. You would have so much fun.
I think I should do that.
You should. Just experience it for a day, and you'll be like, oh, now I get it.
But I will definitely have to bring my truck because
Yes.
I'm sure I will find things that I will want to take home. And
Our volunteers are some of our best shoppers.
I
I
bet.
do have to say that.
I bet they are. So, anything you want to tell our folks out there besides think about us when you're shopping or think about us when you're donating? Anything else that...
Yeah, I think the big thing to remember is that our donors are also businesses locally.
Okay.
And what we really lack or need are those bigger corporate donors.
Okay.
So whether it's a kitchen set that you've taken out of your house,
All right.
or your contractor has, or you're selling a house,
Yeah.
remodeling a house, or you have, tenant homes that there are things that need to come out of. Those are things that we always look for at the Restore.
Yeah.
And I think, getting our business community, getting that knowledge out there that we
Right.
can also use those things is as important as our local donors who know us every day and shop with us every day.
Yeah.
So businesses might not know that the Restore can handle taking those larger donations, but we can.
Right. That's wonderful. Can you tell us your hours one more time?
Yes, for shopping, the hours are Wednesday through Friday, 12 to 4.
Okay.
And Saturdays 10 to 4. If you wish to drop off a donation, you can do that between 9 and 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And we pick up donations Tuesday through Saturday between 9 and 3 by appointment.
Okay. Great information. Thank you so much for being with us
Thank
and for
you.
doing what you do. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it, and our communities appreciate it.
And we appreciate you.
So,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for featuring us.
Thank you. And thank you to our producer, Mike Kelly, for another great show. And thank you all for watching tonight. And we hope to see you right back here next time on What's Your Story?